Hey everybody, Confound It here, and we are almost completed with the Arcsoft Showbiz tutorials. Man, I am so happy that we're there, and I hope y'all are as excited as I am. Now, we're going to be finishing up with making a montage, and I saved that for last so y'all can get a little bit of experience with making your commentaries and everything else that we've done up to this point. Intros, you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So, with making a montage, I've broken everything down into 5 steps. Now, your first step is going to be preparing and planning your work. The second step is going to be recording and picking your music and gathering all of your assets. In step 3, you're going to want to start with your storyboard and learning your music. Step 4, you want to actually do the editing, putting everything that you storyboarded actually into practice and, making rough cuts with everything. And then step 5, you're going to be doing your final edits and polishing and refining everything up, what I like to call the 80-20. Alright, so with step 1, in making a montage, where I like to start is planning and preparing my work. Now, what I mean by that is I pretty much just lay out all the groundwork for everything, folder structures, everything else. If you look here, this is for the making of the montages. And then over here, I start my credit and sources list. Now with this, credits and thanks, it's everything that I gather for it that needs to be credited in the description. I go ahead and start writing it down or taking notes on it as I get it. So if we go back over here to the folder structure, you can see that, I put a little note in there just so I know what the series was about, and then I'll probably come back later and add the YouTube address to it in case I ever need to reference it later. And inside the Making Montages folder, you can see that I have assets. It's audio, stills, video. This is any images, JPEGs, whatever else that we end up gathering. The video, this is where all of our PVR captures are going to be going. Audio, I should have a song in there, but it's not in there, so I'll put that in there during the break. And then with this, like I was saying, it's just keeping everything organized and all in one spot, so it's simple copy and paste when I get to it. Now, if we look inside of the assets and then into the video, the PVR captures, you can see I've already got it already mapped out. And what I like to do is go ahead and set the source, let me maximize that, the source to what that is, so when I actually start to record, it will go exactly where I need it. I don't have to go fishing and hunting for it later. Now, in step 2, the part where you either record or pick your music and your video, gather your assets, where I like to start is actually picking my music, because I already played the game. I know what was there. I'm already familiar with it. And the reason why I like to do that is so I can go ahead and start listening to my music and learning the music. And by learning the music, I mean getting to know it, really getting familiar with it. And that way, when I get into step 4, which is editing, I'll be able to anticipate what happens in the music next. And it just kind of helps my workflow go a little bit smoother. So I like to go ahead and get my music and gather my assets. That way I know what needs to go where, what's going to work where, and everything else. Now, in picking my music, I just found this awesome site, machinimasound.com, which is completely royalty free for the Machinima community and everyone else. I'm not sure if they're sponsored and or endorsed by Machinima or not, but it is really good music. Let's look at their YouTube page real quick. Let's see, I think they've been around since 2009. They've got a pretty decent selection. You can listen to it before you download it, get a little preview of it and everything else. And it fits in really well with gaming. Of course, all they ask for is that you attribute them, and I'll go through all of that now. Now, what I did was I picked a song that I'd used in the speed art that I did for a buddy of mine for his YouTube channel, and that was called Setting Sail, and I'm going to choose that one again because I already know it. I don't have to inundate myself with it and listen to it over and over again, although it's not bad music, so I probably wouldn't mind in the first place. But a couple of things I like to take note of is how long it is. 3 minutes and 3 seconds. That means I'm not going to have to do a lot of work with cutting it down to size, like how you see stuff on on television. It's been formatted to fit your screen and edited to play in the time allotted. 3 minutes and 3 seconds, that's the perfect time for a montage. You know, you're not going to run out of anybody's attention in 3 minutes and 3 seconds, and if you do, then, well, maybe they don't need to be watching montages. Anyhow, yeah, so you just click here, right where I'm highlighted, you download it and save it, and I've saved it into the audio folder, and you know, I can preview it right here. Yep, it's good. And you know, you click over here, this gives you your licensing information, and all they ask is attribution. Say music used, Rallying the Defense by Machinima Sound. And I like to take it a step further and say exactly where I got it from, and then point YouTube back to the license and everything else, and then I'm giving them their YouTube channel as well. I want to make sure that all my bases are covered. So that's that. And then if we go over here to their YouTube channel, you can go through and you know, let's just look at one real quick. I like how they put the waveform factor on it, so you can visualize it before you use it. I'm gonna pause during that. Okay, advertisement over, and this is the land of the wizard, but you can get a sense for it right here. You know, see its peaks and valleys and everything else. Alright, so that's pretty much it for step 2, and we can't really go on to step 3 until we've recorded our gameplay and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and end this one, and I'm going to start uploading it, and then I'm going to immediately start on the rest of it. So I will see y'all in just a few minutes. Hey everybody, Confound It here, and I am coming at you with the continuation of making a montage, which is going to be wrapping up our Arcsoft Showbiz series. What we're looking at here is the theater mode of Black Ops 2. Now the reason why I like to use theater mode is because it's what the game actually sees. You don't have to worry about anything with lag compensation or anything else like that, because in my mind, you know, a montage, it's supposed to be your best gameplay. It's supposed to be the best parts of the game to you. So, you know, why use people getting all herky-jerky all over the map and everything else? And that is a technical term, by the way, herky-jerky. Okay, but seriously though, herky-jerky is not a technical term, but if you ever say it to me, I'll know exactly what you're talking about. Anyway, so I want you to look right here. I know in the last updated PVR2 settings tutorial that I did, I said that 9 megabytes was the key here, and you get there from, I believe it's format settings? Yep, format settings, right here in your video encoder. But I follow hauppauge on Facebook, and I don't remember where I saw it. I looked for it for a few minutes before I started recording this, and I couldn't find it, and they said that somebody was complaining about using 14 megabytes and blah blah blah, and they said, well, try 10. So what I'm saying now is, you know, play with it for a little bit, you know, completely tax it, make like 20-40 cuts in the multiple trim, then lay on the transitions and see where the crashing point is and find your system's sweet spot. Because for me it was 9 megabytes, but I'm going to test their 10 megabyte right now, because before I started recording I tried it at 14, and I think I did like 27 cuts, and then I started piling on transitions, and then it started to bog down on me. So yeah, that's where we're at. Now just to recap before we jump into this, I've got the How Do I Montages bin opened up. Over here I have the folder opened up, this one right here, where my captures are going to be going to. That way as soon as, you know, I'm done capturing, I could just drag it right on over here, and, you know, just quick, you know, workflow. You want to start, you're going to develop your own workflow, and once you've got about five or six of these awesome creations under your belt, you know, you're going to be able to whip right through them, and it's just going to be magnifique every way through. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, what I like to do is make multiple recordings. I make one recording that is completely all the way through as the game plays, and that's my base recording. That's the one that I do my cutscenes and everything else from. And then after that one, if you have the option in whatever game you're recording, I like to go back and use free camera or either third person view and get what I'll call cinematic shots, you know, wide angle shots of me duking it out with somebody else, or, you know, a side angle shot of that sweet three piece that you just picked up. You know what I'm saying? And then you can also go, you know, pan out and get aerial shots of lodestars coming in, or hailstorm missiles, or whatever else, and you know, use that for filler in your montage, and it makes for all kinds of epicness. So I'm not going to make y'all watch me record the whole 10-minute gameplay. That's just going to waste your time and everything else. I mean, this is pretty simple, cut and dry. I'm just going to press start on it, let it record, and then as soon as that's done, I'll be back with y'all, and I will show y'all a little bit of what I do in my second recording, because I want to show y'all how to capture still frames as well, because when we're putting our montage together, I want to show you how you can use the still images to layer on effects, stretch things out a little bit, and kind of making a faux effect isn't really the right wordage to use, but you'll see what I'm talking about when we get there. So hang tight, and I'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes. Alright, so I've got the first part of the video, or the complete video, completely recorded, and I'm just dragging it over here. Now, here's where you have a choice, and I want to go ahead and get this out of the way before I start to record the second scenes. Alright, you can either get one whole long, big, huge recording of all the different scenes and, you know, your generalized effects that you want to all in one file, and the advantages of that is you have one file. The disadvantages of that is you have one file, and with this software, you know, you're most likely going to get a little frustrated with it, trying to get it to the exact part, and then, you know, you make your cut, and then you realize, well, that's not the one I wanted. So what I like to do is the second option, and that is you go through, watch, find where you want to, back up, record that one scene, and then you move forward with your recording. Now, I like to switch it up just a little bit though. Let's say if I want to get 3 or 4 different shots of the same scene, 3 or 4 different angles, so I can, you know, make a mesh of all 3 of those scenes, like, you know, wide angle, over top, from the distance, third person, yada yada yada, whatever it may be. So if that's the case, what I'll do is I'll do that whole thing in one take, or one cut, or one scene, and then I'll move further on down. Alright, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move forward through the gameplay and queue up a scene that I want to capture. That way I'm not wasting your time while you're watching me watch the video. So I'll be back with you in just a second. Alright, so here's a scene that I'm going to want to get a couple of different angles on. So let me turn the volume down on this, and I've also made this full screen so it's a little bit easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and press capture on that, wait for it to go green, and then I'm going to start the film. Alright, on that first take I actually didn't get it right, so I'm going to go ahead and get that out of there so I don't get any confusion later on. So now we're going to start it up again, and then that way I can make sure I'm getting everything that I want, because what I really want to do is get the grenade toss that's going to set off an explosion. And what I want to do is get a few different angles of that explosion. That's the grenade toss that I want. That's the kill that I want. Alright, I'm just going to pause the game right there. Go back. Alright, let's switch to third person view. Or actually, this is free camera. And then I'm going to follow myself over there. Oh, I missed it. Missed it again, because I want to follow that grenade. And catch this guy come in. Let me back up again, because it's going to take some practice, a little bit of getting used to. get this exactly how you want it. But with that little bit of practice, you'll soon get it, and you'll be making epic masterpieces in no time. Did I go back too far? Nope, there I am. There we go, got it. Alright, got that one. I'm just going to stop it there. Wait for it to stop, because then it releases the file. And I can go ahead and drag that into my bin there. Alright, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to get multiple takes of the same shot. Go ahead and start up the capture. It's a pretty nice grenade toss. Sure do love the grenade tosses, don't I? Alright, and I just switched to third person view so I can get in here. Alright. I'll pause again. I have to look at my TV beside me. You know, there's a delay. Alright, I'm gonna back up. Alright. Alright, now what I want to do here is get a still image of me, that's me right there, being looked at down the scope. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come right over here, click on capture frame. Let me minimize that so you can see that I have the capture there. Now it captures at a bitmap, but that's okay. And that's pretty much it for the recording for right now. The next one is going to be editing, so I'm going to go ahead and get this up, and then I'm going to get to work on the editing portion of it. And then after I've completed all 5 steps with the final edits, I'm going to come back and do another one on Black Ops Theater mode, or Black Ops 2's Theater mode, all by itself, because there's a few features in there that'll really be able to help you out if you're using Black Ops 2. I didn't want to put it in the general videos just because not all game types are going to have it, and not everybody with a PBR2 is recording Black Ops 2. So yeah, I'll talk to you in just a couple minutes. Thanks for watching. What's up everybody, Confound It here, and I am coming to you with part 4 of our 5-part series on making a montage with the Arcsoft Showbiz software. Now today I'm going to be talking about not so much of the editing, but more of the storyboarding. If you remember, a while back, maybe a month ago now, let's see when the date is, back on October 3rd, I put out the editing with the Arcsoft Showbiz software series. In the edit your video, I go through 27 minutes and 59 seconds of how to edit with the software and everything else. So I'm not really going to be talking too much about editing today. I'm going to go through a couple of other things, but today mostly is going to be about storyboarding and bringing everything together and getting ready for the final step, which is refining and polishing. So if y'all haven't watched the 27-minute long one I did on editing, now is the perfect chance for y'all to go back and watch that while I'm busy editing this and getting everything ready to continue on with this. So I will see y'all in about 27 minutes and 53 seconds. Alrighty, so now I have my main clip, the whole entire gameplay, completely edited out. And what I did was I took out all of my deaths and all of the other nonsense, and looking at it all condensed down like this, wow. Well, you know, I don't want to go too much into it. I got 3 minutes out of it, so that's actually pretty good for considering our music. At least I thought I had 3 minutes. Oh no, I've got 1:05. Oh Lord. Well, that's alright. We'll just have to do something about that. Anyhow, by now I hope you've been back and watched the 27-minute long video where I go into great detail about editing. And if you haven't, go ahead and pause this now and go ahead and watch that. Or if you already watched it before, then no need to pause. Let's get on the road. So yeah, like I was saying, I've already gotten my main clip and everything else edited out. Now what I like to do is go clip by clip and just watch them through. Let me mute this so, well, I've got the volume down. Watch them through, make sure that everything's there, and what I'm also doing is making sure that it seems like everything is fitting together and everything else. And I'm also looking for the scenes where I'm going to be adding in the camera effects. Click on a clip, it keeps going back and saying match begins in 3. That's an aberration. It's not there. That was way back at the beginning of the game. So if you're getting some sort of weird anomaly like that, just start playing, and I'd say 9.9 times out of 10 it's not going to be there. Okay, so I found the clip where I had that, well, you're looking at it now, that pretty sweet grenade toss with the guy getting thrown off his feet by the exploding band there. So what I'm going to do now is show you how to bring another clip into your time. Alright, so basically what you want to do is move your playhead to the section where you want to put it. And then it's a simple drag and drop procedure. You'll see it. See the it might be hard to see, but see the green line right there in the center? Just want to put it right in there. Make sure it's in the right spot. And then what you're going to want to do is exactly what you just did. You're going to end up loading it into the multiple trim monitor and editing out the parts you don't want and getting just to the part that you want. And I'm not going to make you watch me do it, so I'll be back with you in just a minute. Okay, so I've gotten that all trimmed up and placed in there where I want it, and let's give it a look. Alright, now it's not going to look like that when it's rendered out. That's just us being a victim of the software. It's not going to be all jerky like that. And then when we get into the next part in the 80-20, when we're refining, polishing, and adding our transitions and making sure everything's all squared away, we'll take care of anything else that's, giving us a fit. Alright, what you're seeing on my screen right here right now is a still image that I took. I don't know if y'all remember me showing you how to take still images from it and then bringing it into Pixlr to let me bring Pixlr over here. Bringing it into Pixlr just to do like I kept wanting to call it a faux effect then, but it's really not a faux effect. But all I've done here, let me turn those layers off, is I took and made a circular selection around this, and I zoomed it in just a little bit, as you can see there, and then I made the background of that completely black. And the reason for showing you that, I doubt I'll actually use that in the montage, but it's to show you how you can leverage the still images and the capture frame feature inside of Arcsoft Showbiz to do a couple of other things that you wouldn't regularly be able to do inside of the software. For example, if I go over here to filter and night vision on that layer, I know it's not in Black Ops 2, a feature in Black Ops 2, but perhaps it's in a different game that you play, or a game that you're going to play in the future, or maybe you do want to do this. You can do stuff like make that night vision. Let's see, you go over here and play with your filters, and you can do all kinds of stuff. It's your montage. Basically what I'm saying is you're only limited by your own creativity, and this isn't anything more than showing you how to use everything to your advantage, to maybe circumvent a few things inside of the software and everything else, so you can get somewhat close to a result that you're looking for. Now, here's a little bit of a pro tip for you. If you're trying to let's say you do want to draw a circle, and you're sitting here and you're just like, oh man, you just can't get it right. The trick to drawing a circle inside of not only this program but inside of Photoshop also. The only other image editing program I use is Photoshop, so I can't really speak for GIMP or Paint or anything else. But what you want to do is make an imaginary square outside of the circle, and then draw from corner to corner where that imaginary square would be. And with a little bit of practice, you'll soon get it. So that's the pro tip. And I've already done what I just showed you, and I've saved it out and named it Zoomed. And right here, this clip is the one where the sniper was zoomed in on me, and then I ended up killing him. At least I thought it was. Don't you do it, Arcsoft. Yeah, there it is. So what I want to do now is I just want to bring this down here to my timeline. Add it in there. And then we'll end up putting a transition in there, and something like a fade, or since it's going to flip views, I think the appropriate transition for that would be one of the ones that flip views, so it gave our viewer a little bit of an idea of what was going on, so we kind of filled in the blank for them so they didn't have to think about it too much, because if they think about it too much, they're going to be taking their attention away from your montage, and we certainly don't want that, because as soon as their attention goes away from the montage, they're probably going to click on somebody else's link, and it's going to mess up your analytics and everything else, but don't worry about that stuff right now. Yeah, like a fade or a flip, or maybe a little bit of both, who knows. But yeah. Okay, so now that we have our montage roughly cut, what we're going to want to do now is go ahead and bring our music in. Normally I would have brought the music in sooner, but I didn't want Arcsoft to start freaking out on us. So we've got our music in there. Let's give that a little bit of a listen. Alright, now I've only got it looks like maybe a minute, yeah, a minute and 5 seconds of footage. So what I'm going to want to do is bring the music down to match it, or either fill in the content with other stuff. But honestly, that's over a minute of filler. I don't have a hard and fast rule for how much filler to put to how much content, but if it's double, that's definitely way too much. I'll go ahead and tell you that. So what I'm doing is I'm trimming the music down, and I'm going to get just a little bit of a lead in with it, and then a little bit of a tail on it. Let's see where that's got us. Alrighty. And then I'm just going to click on the entire project, go back to the beginning, and give it a listen. Okay, yeah, that's good. So we're at 10 minutes and 52 seconds right now, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, and I hope y'all join me for part 5, the final part, where we're going to be refining and polishing, adding our transitions, maybe some effects. Not real sure about it because I'm not very keen on the effects inside of the software. But yeah, it's good stuff on the road. We'll be making montages in no time at all. So y'all join me in just a little bit for part 5. Hope to see you there. Y'all come back now, yeah? Good day. Confound it here. And today we're going to be talking. Hold on. Wait. That's not how I do this. Anyhow, what's up, people? Confound it here. And today I am bringing you part 5 of our Arcsoft Showbiz tutorial series on how to make a montage. This is the last bit of it, and if you can't tell, I am so excited to be done with this. And man, I tell you what. Anyhow, what we're going to be talking about today is what I like to call the 80-20, or finishing up the project, the last steps. It's just about done. And the reason why I call it 80-20 is because it seems like, all right, you've got 100% of the work, and then let's say you spend 4 hours on 80% of it, so then you got 20% left. Well, you need to spend 4 hours on the last 20% as well, just because you need to take pride in your work, pay attention to the details, and get everything just as exactly perfect as you want it. I mean, you put a lot of time and effort into this, all the way from playing the game to recording it to getting this far to making a montage. So, treat it with some respect. Alright, so before we get started on this, I'm just going to go ahead and say that I'm going to well, I've already got the other 4 parts up, and then I'll be putting this part up, and then I'm going to edit all 5 of the parts together and put up one whole long, however long it is. It'll probably be like 40 minutes or whatever else, but this way you'll have the option to watch it all the way through, or you can watch the individual parts, and you can always come back to the parts where you're going to have questions at. And speaking of questions, if y'all have any questions at all or any kind of comments, use that little box below and leave me a comment. I'm usually pretty quick about getting back to them, and I'll do my best to help you. Alright, so the whole point of this final step is getting everything all lined up and making sure that everything is all perfect, getting things as close to as perfect as you can with the software, making sure that actions are ending on beats wherever possible. I mean, you can't remap or change time inside of this software, so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for you. But if you take the extra effort to get most of it correct and make it look as professional as you possibly can, people will notice. And then as you build your subscriber base up and everything else, and you're able to save up a little bit of money, you can get a more advanced level software, hobbyist level. There's I don't know, Arcsoft has some stuff out there. There's Adobe Premiere Elements. Sony Vegas has I think one for under $100. I mean, the options are out there, but just the whole point of these series was to make sure that this was something that you wanted to do, and to give you the best chance at succeeding with this software. So we're 3 minutes into this now. I've talked enough. Let's go ahead and get this done. Alright, so right here I've got the first clip, and I've got the music on it this time, and y'all should be able to hear the music as it plays. So let's just take a quick listen. Alright, so we got a kill there. And I'm not on the entire project, so y'all completely missed the music, and so did I. Start over. That's just the program getting all herky-jerky. Told you that was a technical term. Alright, did you see right there how I had it lined up where I replaced the clip on the beat? That's one of those little details that you're going to need to pay attention to, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a kill or anything else. Just make sure that there's some bit of action that's hitting on a beat, and it doesn't have to be every one, because you're going to go crazy and you're probably going to break your monitor or your laptop or a window, or it's going to get expensive if you try and line up every one of them. I'm not saying it can't be done, and you'll probably be able to after you've done maybe 10 or 12 of these and you've become a master of the showbiz. But until then, just go with every now and again. But now, to just briefly show you how I did that, I'm just going to click on actually, let me click on one of these clips over here, and it's getting a little bit crazy on me, so I'm going to go ahead and save my project. And let me remind y'all need to save often. Save often. It's better to save when you don't need to than to have wished you would have. Whatever. I've lectured on this before. Anyhow, so once you've got your clip selected, you can see right here it's called an in point and out point, And what this is when you trimmed using the multiple trim, this is the outside of the scissor marks. So in point, you got green for in, and I guess that's pink for red, or pink for out. But what you can do is, instead of going back into the multiple trim and trying to work through everything else again, you can just grab on right here. See how my cursor has changed into this double pointing arrow? You can either roll edit or you can ripple edit. If you scroll left on the selected clip, or not scroll left, but if you mouse left on it, you're going to roll edit or add to it. If you come back to the right, you're going to take away from it. And then you can kind of see, if you look right here, you can tell by looking at the waveform that there's a bit of action in the music, not necessarily in the shot, but in the music. And then if you match up right here, you can look at the form factor for the audio from the gameplay, and you can kind of see that something happened there as well. See right here, something happened right there, something happened right there. So just as a little frame of reference, if you can get those kind of lined up, you're going to save yourself a little bit of a step. So let me click that so we can get the entire project and see how that looks.
UAV inbound.
Did y'all hear that grenade in the background? That's what that was. So, you know, even if it's a distant explosion, it's still going to sync up with the beat of the music, and it's going to be a pleasant viewing experience. So that's how you can really tweak the clips on your timeline. Now let's look into adding effects and transitions and everything else. And I really like to do that at the storyboard mode right here. And the reason for that is because, you know, I can see exactly where the cuts are, and then I'll switch back to the timeline to make sure. And you know, I'm going to go with my old standby. I accidentally clicked on effects. I wanted transitions. I've told you before how I like to fade things in and fade things out, so that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I called it walking them on and walking them off. And now I'm going to save because I'm messing with effects. I mean transitions again. Alright, so now we have what I call my defaults, fading on and fading off, or fading in and fading out, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to look up here at these transitions and see if I can see something that's going to flip. Alright, that spirals, that zooms in and out. Now zooming in and out, that would carry along with, let me back up a little bit. Right now I'm thinking about this because it's in my line of sight. Speaking of sight, see what I did there? Anyhow, now zooming in and out, that would correlate to, you know, a sniper zooming. So see how I'm keeping the thought with what they're seeing? It's like, you know, you wouldn't want to do this one like a blind door out for a sniper zoom. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss that on there because I want to check it out. Switch back to the timeline. Let's back up there. I'm going to click on the audio so I can drag it back. So everything's nice and cohesive. Alright, and I'm going to click off of everything so it selects the entire project. Just going to pull right back to here. And remember, it might be a little bit herky-jerky just because, I mean, that's how it is. But once you've got some experience in the program, you'll be able to realize. Yeah, that would have looked good if it wouldn't have messed up on me. Let me try that one more time. I'm going to go back just a little bit further.
Securing B.
Okay. Okay, so that takes care of that one. Now, let's talk about when you should use transitions. Let me save again real quick. I'd hate to lose all this work. Alright, so my rule of thumb when I use a transition is whenever there's a break in thought. And what I mean by a break in thought is when there should... Alright, let's think about a movie for a second. Now, there can be several scenes in a clip of a movie, but throughout that whole scene, they don't fade off or they don't fade to black. They don't do any kind of other transition. They just cut exactly to the other clip. And the reason why is because it's supposed to be in the same thought process. Transitions are supposed to help us transition to another thought, if you will. So really the only place I use transitions is when there's supposed to be a break in scenery or a break in something else. Like, okay, it did that. Match begins in 3, 2, like, alright, let's say in Black Ops 2 you have 2 rounds. I would definitely use a transition once the sides switched, if that makes sense, because you're essentially facing from 2 different sides of the map. It should be a new thought, a new round. But something like through here, I'm still all in this section of the map, so this could be considered, you know, still one scene in an epic fight scene, if in fact my gameplay was epic. But we're not talking about my gameplay. But honestly and truly, it's your montage. It might be your gameplay, it might be your clans, it might be a friend of yours, it might be anything else. But you know, it's yours. Do with it what you will. But you know, just put some love into it. And you will develop your own style as soon as you've done this more and more. You'll come to your own workflow. You'll find out what works for you, what works best, how you work the most efficiently, and get the best results that you're proud of. So with that, and in conclusion to our 5-part series on making a montage and how to do commentaries and everything else we've learned in Arcsoft, I now send y'all out into the world to make epic masterpiece montages. And if I've done anything to help y'all out and y'all have used anything at all, be sure to send me a message, leave a video response on any one of the corresponding videos, and I will gladly approve it. I'll put it on my Twitter, I'll put it on my Facebook page. Well, I was about to say I'd put it on the moon, but I can't afford a rocket, so I'll put it everywhere I possibly can. So y'all have a great day, and y'all have fun with this. Oh yeah, and y'all come back now, you hear?